Ever wondered how the education system in the Philippines came to be what it is today? Let's travel back in time and start at the very beginning. Picture a time before formal schools, textbooks, and exams. The early education system in the Philippines was highly informal and largely community-based. Elders were the primary educators, passing down valuable knowledge, skills, and wisdom to the younger generations. This tradition-centric form of education was the bedrock of Philippine society, shaping the beliefs and values of its people. But then, around the late 16th century, everything changed. The Spanish colonizers set foot on the Philippine shores, bringing with them a wave of cultural and societal shifts. One of the most significant changes was the introduction of formal schooling. For the first time, learning was not just about survival or tradition, it was about literacy, religion, and artistry. It was about structured lessons, regular exams, and standard curriculums. The Spanish introduced a system heavily influenced by Catholic teachings. The friars played a crucial role in this new educational landscape. They established the first schools and universities in the country, turning education into a tool for spreading their faith. While this had the positive effect of increasing literacy rates, it also created a system that was deeply intertwined with the church. The Spanish era was a pivotal period in the history of Philippine education. It marked the transition from a community-based, informal system to a more structured, formal one. It introduced new subjects, new methods of teaching, and new ways of thinking. It was a period of great change, but it also laid the groundwork for the education system as we know it today. From the community elders to the Spanish friars, each played a crucial role in shaping the education system in the Philippines. Despite the challenges and the controversies, they set the stage for a system that continues to evolve, adapt, and strive for excellence. The Spanish era laid the groundwork for what would become a system of education that continues to evolve. As the torch passed from Spain to America, how did the education system in the Philippines transform? At the turn of the 20th century, the islands of the Philippines found themselves under a new flag, the Stars and Stripes of the United States. With this change in colonial power came a shift in the approach to education. The Americans saw education as a powerful tool for nation building and embarked on a campaign to establish a public school system across the archipelago. American influence brought about a significant shift in the language of instruction. Spanish was replaced with English, an enduring legacy that remains to this day. This decision was not without controversy, however. Critics argued that the use of English created a cultural divide and fostered a sense of inferiority among Filipinos. Yet proponents contended that English, as a global language, would open doors for Filipinos on the world stage. A key tenet of American education policy in the Philippines was the promotion of democratic ideals. Schools were seen as a means of instilling values such as individual liberty, equality, and respect for law and order. This was a marked departure from the Spanish approach, which had emphasized religious instruction and obedience to authority. Moreover, the Americans introduced a more practical curriculum. Instead of focusing solely on academic subjects, vocational courses were offered to equip Filipinos with skills that would directly benefit their lives and their communities. This pragmatic approach reflected the American belief in the power of education to improve society. The American occupation also led to the establishment of universities that would become pillars of Philippine education. Among them, the University of the Philippines, which was modeled after American state universities, aimed to produce graduates who could serve the nation. As the American period drew to a close, the education system they had established was firmly rooted. While it was not without its flaws, it had fundamentally transformed the landscape of Filipino education. English proficiency, a democratic ethos, and a practical curriculum became the hallmarks of schooling in the Philippines. A new era was ushered in, shaping the future of education in the Philippines. Post-World War II, the Philippines regained independence, but what happened to the education system? The aftermath of the war saw the country in ruins, and the education system was no exception. Yet the resilience of the Filipino spirit shone through. The focus shifted towards rebuilding the nation, and education took center stage. It was an era of renewal, of picking up the pieces and stitching them back together brick by brick, book by book. In the year 1947, the Department of Education was established. This was a significant milestone as it marked the country's commitment to rebuilding an education system that was inclusive and accessible to all. The department's primary mandate was to manage and govern the country's education system. ensuring the provision of quality education for every Filipino child. The department set about its task with vigor, initiating various programs and initiatives aimed at improving the quality of education and making it more accessible. Schools were rebuilt, curriculums were redesigned, and teachers were retrained. The efforts were immense, and the results were tangible. The literacy rate began to climb, and more children were given the opportunity to learn and grow. Fast forward to 1982, and the Philippine government further fortified its commitment to education with the implementation of the Education Act. This act was a comprehensive piece of legislation that aimed to overhaul the entire education system. It introduced a new curriculum that emphasized critical thinking and problem-solving skills, rather than rote learning. The act also made education compulsory for all children, ensuring that every child had the right to an education. The post-war era was a time of great challenge, but also of great progress. The concerted efforts of the government, educators, and the community at large led to the creation of an education system that was robust and inclusive. It was a system that prioritized learning and growth and valued the potential of every child. The post-war era marked a period of renewal and growth, setting a strong foundation for the modern education system. In the 21st century, what does the education landscape in the Philippines look like? As we cross the threshold into the 21st century, the panorama of education in the Philippines presents a dynamic and evolving scene. The dawn of this century saw the country embarking on a significant educational transformation, the implementation of the K-12 program. The K-12 program, introduced in 2011, marked a momentous shift in Philippine education. It expanded the basic education system from a 10-year cycle to a globally aligned 12-year program. This change was designed to equip Filipino students with skills and competencies necessary for the modern world. The program aimed to nurture learners who are not only academically competent but also socially aware, emotionally balanced, and physically agile. However, like any substantial change, the K-12 program also faced its own set of challenges. The transition required massive investments in infrastructure, teacher training, and learning materials. It also meant an additional financial burden for families, as it extended the schooling years. Despite these hurdles, the Philippines remained steadfast in its commitment to elevate its education system. Yet, the story of 21st century education in the Philippines is not just about systemic changes. It's also about the resilience and adaptability of its people. In the face of natural calamities, political upheavals, and more recently, a global pandemic, the education sector has shown remarkable agility. Schools quickly shifted to online learning, teachers innovated with limited resources, and students adapted to new ways of learning. The 21st century also ushered in opportunities for the education sector. Technological advancements have opened doors for innovative teaching methods and learning tools. The internet has broken down geographical barriers, allowing learners access to a wealth of knowledge beyond the confines of their classrooms. The journey of Philippine education in the 21st century is a testament to the country's resilience and commitment to progress. It's a narrative of change, challenges, and opportunities. The 21st century brings with it new challenges and opportunities, shaping the future of education in the Philippines. So, what does the future hold for the education system in the Philippines? It's a question that demands a look forward, a gaze into the crystal ball of possibilities and trends that are shaping the landscape of learning in this vibrant archipelago. One of the most significant shifts we're likely to see is the full integration of technology into the classroom. In a world where digital literacy is as essential as traditional literacy, schools in the Philippines are poised to embrace this change. Imagine a future where every student, regardless of their location or socioeconomic status, has access to a digital device and the internet. This would not only level the playing field but also open up a world of resources previously unimaginable. Virtual classrooms, interactive ebooks, online tutorials, and AI-driven personalized learning are just a few of the innovations on the horizon. But technology is just one piece of the puzzle. A future-proof education system also recognizes the importance of lifelong learning. In an age where the only constant is change, the ability to adapt and learn new skills is crucial. This means shifting away from rote memorization and focusing more on critical thinking, problem-solving, and creativity. It's about nurturing learners who are not just job-ready, but future-ready. Furthermore, The future of education in the Philippines hinges on inclusivity and accessibility. It's about ensuring that every child, regardless of their physical abilities, gender, or ethnic background, has equal access to quality education. This involves creating inclusive classrooms, adopting gender-sensitive curricula, and removing barriers to education for indigenous and marginalized communities. The road to this future is not without its challenges. From infrastructure to funding, from policy to practice, there's a lot of work to be done. But the potential rewards, a generation of Filipinos who are equipped to navigate and shape the future, are immense. As we look to the future, it's clear that the journey of education in the Philippines is far from over. It continues to evolve, shaped by the needs of its people and the changing world around us.